Are we together? I think Eddie said, yes, we're together. You know, it's still kind of cool here in Savannah. And I know some of y'all are probably getting snow and thinking, what the heck? But it's still good soup weather right now. So I'm going to share with y'all my recipe for taco soup. Okay, so we're going to start, y'all, with 2 pounds of ground beef and 2 cups of chopped onion. And we're going to brown those off. And because we're not going to want all that fat, we're going to drain that fat off. So here we go. Yeah, I make this soup a lot in my crock pot. And of course, it doesn't have to cook as long as like you would a pot roast. Because basically, everything's going to be cooked in it that goes in it. So, in with our 2 pounds of burger that we're going to brown and drain off. And I kind of like mine in, like if I'm making spaghetti or goulash, I like to leave my hamburger in pretty big chunks. So, you know, not like all minced up. Like when I get a spoon and I want some meat, I want it to look like a piece of meat. So I'm just breaking them off into big hunks. Almost done, Eddie. Okay, there we go. That's some pretty ground beef, Teresa.
Thank you.
What is it, 80-20?
It is actually 85.
85-15.
Yes.
So that's good, even less fat. Because the average out there, I think, is 80-20.
Yes.
But if you want a real good hamburger, y'all, get you some 90-10. No, 70-30. I'm getting it right fast backwards. Yeah, for that juicy, greasy burger, find you a 70-30. Okay, so see, not a whole tremendous amount of fat, but just something we probably don't need. So now I'm going to bring this over here now, and I'm going to add all my ingredients. It's a lot of ingredients, but I'm probably going to omit this because the recipe calls for black olives and green olives, and I must have had the general public in mind about that because Michael and I, if we order a pizza and there's a black olive on it, we just, we don't like it. We don't, now I can eat them like this. And my child, Bobby, he could put all of those in his mouth at one time. He adores green olives, black olives. But Michael and I don't. So I'll decide at the end. And the sliced green olives, they didn't even make it over here. They didn't make it past the table. So we've got our diced tomatoes with green chilies. We've got our crushed tomatoes. We've got a rotel that's spiced tomatoes with lime juice and cilantro. We've got some pretty white corn, pinto beans, 2 cans of pintos, and 1 can of red. Yeah, just a pink pinto. And then a can of chilies. I don't know if I said that. And then we've got our taco seasoning. And it calls for 1 envelope of ranch dressing. But I think I found that in one of those little packs, it's just an ounce, ounce and a half. Let's see if they say what. To make an 8 ounce, you'd use 1.5 tablespoons To make 2 cups, you would use 3 tablespoons. So I always have figured when I, need my ranch dressing and I'm putting it in something like my pot roast recipe that calls for au jus and ranch, I put like 3 tablespoons to equal 1 envelope. So that's what we'll be doing there in the way of seasoning. Look at this pot of taco soup, y'all. It looks delicious, and I know that it's gonna taste delicious. Now, I added a little salt. I didn't add any pepper because of the tomatoes had some spice in them. So you can heat it some more with your sauce, with your hot sauce. So I added about a teaspoon, I think, of garlic powder and probably a teaspoon of salt. So I'm gonna dip me up just a small bowl. And do you remember when I was washing out the cans where the gravy was left in the bottom? I added, I guess the can was that full of water. So I did add like 1 can of, like a soup can of water. So, now I've got avocado here. I've got cheese. I got the original corn chip. And then I have the little dips, the scoopers. So, I think, since it was already opened, I'm going to use the scoops. And I'm going to give them a little crunch to it. And then I'm going to add some cheese. I should have probably put the cheese down before I put the crunchies, shouldn't I? Okay, so we said cilantro, avocado, sour cream, cheese, green onions.
All kinds of things.
Yes. Let me see what I did with the green onions. Here they are. I put them away. You want some of this, Gussie? You want some of this? Oh, I'm just gonna rinse those chips off because I'm just gonna mince up just a little bit of the green to go on top of my bowl. Look how pretty that looks. You know how it's really gonna look pretty? When I put my tulips around it. Get it? My tulips. Look. All the layers. It's delicious, y'all. You see how I left that meat in some big chunks? I like chunks. This is delicious. Well, I could stand up here for another hour, y'all, and finish that bowl of soup, but then I would miss my grandson's playoff game. So I'm gonna have to finish that when I get back. But y'all do make this because it's out of this world. So simple, so easy. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.